Chào các bạn, mình đang chuẩn bị để đi đến thử một cuộc phỏng vấn với vị trí marketing của một cái công ty tên là AC Disaster Consulting. Công ty này thì là đối tác tạo nguồn với cái trường cao quản trị kinh doanh mà mình đã tốt nghiệp để lấy cái bằng thạc sĩ. Để xem là cái cuộc phỏng vấn này diễn ra như thế nào và họ sẽ nhận xét xem là mình phỏng vấn đã được chưa, thì các bạn sẽ theo chân mình nhé. Okay, I think so good. Okay. Yeah, you can.
Okay, great. So have you taken advantage of the business or the career center support for resume building at all?
No,
Okay.
I just apply for the practice.
Okay.
And I think, I supposed to send the resume so they can correct for me.
Sure.
And to be honest, that I correct a lot by the time.
Mm-hmm.
And after I write down myself, and my husband also helped me too.
Mm-hmm.
He write to, he read, he said, is that okay? And he said, this not good. So he can say, oh, you need to correct this. So.
Sure.
But
Yeah.
I'm not have a professional because even my husband, he very good about writing, but maybe not the way of the employee they want. So.
Sure. Yeah.
Yeah.
No, absolutely. I can tell you, like I said, simple to the point is the very best way to go with the resume. We want to make sure that when we're looking at building a resume, that we're including pieces that are relevant to the job we're looking for. So oftentimes I have folks who have 25 years of employment experience, but only 5 of it really applies to the job they're applying for.
Wow.
So we really want to make sure that we're honing in on what applies to this position. The other years can be accounted for simply with a small bullet that says, this is where I worked and this is the job I had.
So is that her name? I remember on my email they say that send to her, right? She always person send correct the resume, right? I remember in my email I have that.
Okay.
So I supposed to send to her, right?
I would expect so. Because I'm with AC Disaster, I'm not entirely sure about the internal processes here.
Oh, okay.
But yeah,
Okay.
so I'm looking at it from an employer standpoint.
Okay.
Just kind of giving guidance and volunteering my time to help with preparation for you guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely. Otherwise, as I mentioned, the narrative that we have going as far as the story, the background, it's great, but it's really more something that I would provide verbally. As part of that conversation. Most employers are going to ask you to walk them through your employment history so that they understand what applies to this job and what doesn't, and then they'll kind of pick which direction they want to go from there.
Okay.
So kind of keep that in mind.
Okay.
But otherwise, I like the content. I think if we can just simplify it a little more, it'll be in good shape.
Okay.
I like that you included your references on there. That's always helpful.
Right.
It is not necessary to include your entire address, maybe
Okay.
just your city and state.
Oh, okay.
Contact information is always necessary, of course.
Okay.
But yeah, you don't want to necessarily give out your full address. If they hire you, they will collect that at that time.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, let's see, you've got your cover letter. This is a great place to have more of that narrative, so that's great. This is good.
Thank you.
Fantastic. Okay. Yes. I think that is my feedback on the resume itself. In inverse order isn't really necessary as long as we've got the dates.
Okay.
If we've got the dates, then we can kind of tell, what order chronologically it's going to go in.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, of course. Okay, so otherwise, let's go ahead and run through some questions just to kind of help you prepare for what an interview is going to feel like. I'm sure you've been through them before.
Okay.
I will take more of the finance and marketing approach since I know that's the area of focus that you want.
Okay.
But a lot of these are going to be general questions that most employers are probably going to ask.
Okay.
Okay, so the first question is, are you currently working?
Yes. Now I'm like I told you before, I'm working like security officer in Denver Airport.
Okay.
Yeah, that's a
Fantastic.
small job. They don't need much about education.
Okay.
But that means I can learn about experience, working environment, how to have a teamwork, and many other experience.
Okay, fantastic.
Yeah.
I love that you're still using the opportunity to learn. That's great.
Thank you.
And you said that is a full-time position, yes?
Yes.
So you are looking to transition into your area of focus.
Yeah.
What kind of start time would you have if I were to offer you the position? How soon would you be able to start?
Oh, because by the labor law, I think every company they need to notify ahead. So at least for 2 weeks,
Okay.
because I need to notify my employers, current employer. That's okay. I need to quit the job to move on my career.
Sure.
So normally, 2 weeks.
Okay.
Yeah.
Fantastic. And what kind of shift are you available to work? If we needed something that was open to weekends or extra hours, is that something that you would be comfortable
Yeah,
with?
I comfortable any trip.
Okay,
Yeah.
fantastic. If we needed you to travel, are you comfortable traveling for work?
Yes,
Okay.
I think the travel because I think the business of this company they need to travel because disaster they can happen everywhere. You cannot charge this I can go with this and you cannot go.
Yeah.
In case if you have family problems or maybe, but normally I think they need to require that. So
Yep, absolutely. You are correct. That's good preparation. I appreciate that. Okay, well, let's talk about the day-to-day approach that you take to work. When you are working, if you have multiple priorities, lots of things going on all at once, how do you stay organized and keep track of the details?
you know what? I think for the employees' perspective, you need to learn in the detail. If you don't know, you need to learn because the job they require that, and you want to become very good employees. You need to learn by detail. Sometimes you need to check the multitask together, right? So no way you need to learn. You need to learn. That's it.
Okay.
Yeah. If you don't know, you need to ask person they know more than you. Co-worker, supervisor, whatever.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Absolutely. Are there any tools that you use as far as like applications on a computer that will help you stay organized and keep track of your timing?
For me, I think technology now that is the one key factor. You cannot deny about that. Every company without computer or technology can very difficult because now the modern society and modern business they require that because sometimes in supply chain we learn about concept just in time. Very important because sometimes you just miss a little bit time you can turn different way. So especially in a disaster business community they need help. They need to on time. Sometimes when you apply for the budget from government, federal, state, and local, you just miss maybe one day. You can destroy the whole that. You cannot accept for the budget from government. That's
Yeah, absolutely. Timing is huge. Making sure that we have the details organized, that we're staying on task, that we're not missing those deadlines. That's absolutely correct. How about when you're communicating with others? What is your approach to make sure that you are being clear and understood and that you're also efficient?
Oh yeah, I think too. I think in the business, communication very important factors. So if you don't understand, you can ask again to make clear you understand. Because if you don't understand, you don't know how to fulfill with the task. Yes, misunderstanding can become very disaster, problem. Yeah. So
Absolutely.
you need to communicate, by talk or maybe phone or maybe email or something or message, but need to be clear, understanding. Yeah.
Absolutely. Very good. How about when you're interacting with others? Have you ever had a challenging situation that was really difficult to deal with? What was the situation and how did you handle it?
Oh, in co-work, because every company and every company have a different employees. They from different background, and especially, for example, my company now, they are very international. They from different country, even different religion, and some people they hardworking, some people they lazy. That's the key point. The problem.
Yeah.
And of course, if I'm hardworking, I don't happy with the people lazy. And when you do with that, sometimes you just say, okay, we just like co-worker, we remind them, okay, you need to come back to work, or you need to do the job because you was paid for come here to work, but they lazy. And I know that my co-worker, some people they very mad about that. They remind them a couple times, but they don't listen. So no way we can write a report. They can report to the supervisor and manager. So let the top executive they can make decision. We cannot do anything. We just report. So.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, fair. How about a situation that required a lot of empathy and understanding of another person? Can you give me an example of that?
Oh, for example, if you have a co-worker today, they go too late. Okay, they go to work late, and of course, because some people they call them, we have a 3 shift. So day shift, swing shift, and mid shift. So when you come here, you need to people. They also work the whole day. Some people they go overtime, so they supposed to waiting for you. You come on time so they can come home. They think they do a lot of things in home, right? They also have family take care. They also need to eat. They need to have a sleep too. And now they come here late. I have a problem too. They come late for half an hour.
Right.
Because before I work for the swing shift, and swing shift we finish at 10:30 at the midnight, and then they late for me for half an hour. I need to wait until 11:30 because on the night time I take the train.
Oh no.
And then you miss the train, and every night time, every half an hour they have a train. I come home one day more than 12:30 in the morning.
Wow.
And I walk from train to station to my home for 10 minutes. I'm scared to death. And I'm very, very upset about that. And then next day, because one time I say, okay, I can forgive. I can sympathize, maybe you have problem. Second time, I remind them, you cannot do that. But the third time, I write to the manager, I say no. Because if something happened to me on the way when I come from train station to come home, something maybe they come here and then they do something to me and then something happened, who responsibility? So I have a report.
Yeah, absolutely. That's a great example for sure. It definitely shows that everybody has something going on.
Right.
But we also still have to be considerate of each other.
I don't do right away. I'm waiting for 1-2 times. And the third time I cannot stay with that. I say no. You need to correct that. The company needs to correct. People need to follow the policy.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you. I appreciate that.
Thank you very much.
Of course. Let's talk about a time you had a project and you were unable to meet the goal or the deadline. Tell me about the situation, what happened, how did you handle it?
Project.
It can be related to school, work,
oh yeah,
any kind
if
of
the school,
yes.
Okay.
That's
So,
okay.
because I think about my company, we don't have a big project.
Sure,
They just work, like a routine. But about the school, yes, when I study about MBA, so I have one class they call informatics system.
Okay.
So very much about like technology, data, analysis stuff, whatever. So one of the class we have assignment about, they call the Tableau.
Okay.
So they use the Tableau software and do analysis on the data, right? So it look like they research about maybe population, whatever that. So the Tableau. So the deadline nearly close. I have no idea how to do. I try to learn, but I don't know how to do it. I cannot fix it out. And I emailed to my professor, and he said, no, I cannot give you any guidelines. You need to learn by yourself because you are MBA. You are master. No way can professor give you anything. That's not fair if I guideline to you and then other student. So I said, oh my gosh, I'm so headache. I cannot sleep. I said, how I can do? I can ask a co-worker, classmates how to figure out that. I asked somebody, say, oh, they still doing that. They still doing that. So nobody can help. I say, my gosh, how I do that? So I say, no way I can do anything. So I try to, okay, calm down, take the breath, and then sit down and listen. Google what's on the video in internet to figure out how to do that. So finally, thanks God, I'm done.
Okay.
I don't have a very perfect grade,
Sure.
but I have a like 80-something%.
Okay.
I'm very happy. And finally I said, oh, I can do that. If you just calm down and focus on that and step by step learn a little bit, and then I can do.
Yes.
That's difficult for me.
Yeah.
When teacher answered that, I said, oh my gosh, I cannot ask a teacher. He said, no, you your own. You master, you need to do by yourself.
That's good. That's good. It's a good lesson in resourcefulness
Yeah.
for sure. But it looks like you came through. So
I
that's
come
good.
through, yeah. That's the real story. Everything, this is the real story.
Yes, yes, that's fantastic. Thank you. That's a great example for sure. Definitely a big piece of that question is, what do you learn from it, right?
Yeah, I learned that. I just say, okay, when I root, and to be honest, in my life, if I want to do something, finally I can do.
Yeah.
That not mean I smart, no. I just, okay, step by step and learn a little bit. And finally I can do that.
Yeah,
Yeah.
absolutely. That's fantastic. Well, you talked a lot about technology. You've had exposure to it. You understand its importance. So how often have you had to use Office 365 or Microsoft Suite? And how comfortable would you say you are in those programs, specifically Excel? I think most companies are most interested in Excel.
That's another story. I think I learned a lot about the master. Because you know what, you need to look on my background. I have a bachelor, but from other country.
Okay.
And I come here, and I have another, before I come to US, I have another master from Belgium. But also study, professor from Belgium, but outside United States. I come here, I don't have any background from United States. And English is my second language. So very difficult, but thanks God MSU accept me because I have a lot of experience working, and I have a background about, like education before. So they come through all the process to certify, and finally they accept me.
Nice.
So so I think MBA I learn a lot. Learn because I learn by myself. And we use almost, sometimes we learn by Zoom or by team, 360 degree, because that like a couple years ago, COVID, we know where to come in person. So all the technology, and everybody say without Zoom and without team, nobody can come to school. And even many conference too, even government and everywhere, you can see the whole world that use that technology to deal with the business,
Yeah, absolutely.
everything. So that's very important.
Yeah, we use Teams all the time.
Yeah.
We are largely remote.
Right.
We have folks that are, home office. They live in all the different states, with the exception of California.
Yeah.
But then they deploy into the field and they travel
Right.
for the work that we do. So
And I heard people, they say, we just imagine how the world look like if they don't have a kind of technology come through for the 2-3 years pandemic like that. So
absolutely, it would have just stopped for sure. So.
Right.
Yeah, well, that's good. It is a trial by fire. You learned the hard way, but you did it.
Yeah.
So that's fantastic. How do you build relationships, connections with other people when you are meeting people for the first time? What's your approach to make sure that you start off on the right foot?
You know what? I learned a lot about that. Especially when I'm from the other country. In Vietnam, I'm from Vietnam, they say that, they have a concept. I try to explain and translate, not original, like very difficult, but that means you far from family. So you need to buy the relationship, like around you, like friend, neighborhood, something. We kind of that metaphor that, but not really. So that means they say yes, and I learn from my life too. Everywhere we go, and I and my husband, we always make friends. We don't have any friend before in neighborhood, and finally we become very good friends. And in Vietnam we say, you say that they rich because you have more friends.
Absolutely.
But you become like very luxury, or maybe very look like, you know, like you're very high class in society thanks to your wife. That's they say in Vietnam, we metaphor that. So they say you rich because you have more friends.
Yeah.
Because somehow in very difficult or something, you have a problem. Maybe your family don't help you, but friends, the person help you.
Yeah.
So we call that. You say you're rich because you have a lot of friends, but you become the classy thanks to your wife. That they say.
I like
So
it.
you know that how relationship, you know,
Yeah.
very important.
Absolutely. Awesome. Yeah, that's really important in a lot of different industries, companies, right? You need to be able to work well with others. And,
Yeah.
and I think you showed a lot of empathy too, and understanding that other people go through things, and sometimes we just have to give them the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah.
In your previous example, so that's fantastic.
Thank you.
Let's talk about customer service.
Okay.
So, in marketing specifically, but also in finance, you know, really any job that you have, there's always going to be customer service as an aspect. And
Right.
sometimes it's internal customer service. Largely, that's going to be the finance realm. Marketing can go both ways. If you are in marketing, you're going to have external clients and you're
Yeah.
going to have internal.
Right.
And so, how do you approach those situations to ensure that you're delivering the highest level of customer service?
You know what? I don't know, but in Vietnam, or maybe in marketing perspective, they will always say that customer always right. So they mean that the customer always have a very top priority. Okay, if every company they need to have a customer. Without customer, you cannot run the business.
Exactly.
It cannot become success, develop or grow. Because every company, you know, the target is either satisfied for the customer. So, and you want to satisfy customer service, you need to have a very good team. Like, need to research the needs of the customer, what they need, how to satisfy on the level from from bottom to the high. The company maybe can have many different level of the customer, maybe very high. For example, if they sell products, right? So they can have a rich customer, medium, and just like working class. So I think the marketing very important. They need to learn and analyze how the customers they need, and then what they expect from your company. What you can serve them, supply for them.
Yeah.
So
absolutely.
I think very important.
Yeah, absolutely. I agree with that. I think that getting to the core of their needs is very important,
Right.
and certainly the foundation of achieving customer service. So
Yeah.
that's perfect. Well, good.
Thank you.
Those are general questions that I would normally ask anyone, and then I would dive into the job description itself. As far as marketing goes, assuming you have an understanding of the client's need, they want to grow their brand recognition.
Right.
How would you approach that situation? What kind of suggestions might you make? Obviously, we don't know what they have already, but let's just say you're starting from scratch. They need to grow their brand recognition. How would you go about that?
That's very interesting, but very difficult question. I think when you want to build the brand, okay. First thing you need to satisfy customer first, and you need to have what you can serve for customer, very good quality, because the customer, if they want to pay money, that they need to, the money they pay for that, they need to have a products, equivalent what the money they pay. So the quality of the products and very good service, and even very easy, like they say, we sometimes they say, oh, even greeting, even higher than the party. In Vietnam, we say the greeting. That means how your habit, how your attitude with customer even higher than the quality of products. So, for example, like okay, you can have very good quality, but you come here, you are the employees. They don't welcome them. They don't have any like greeting or welcome them. Customers, they say, oh, I come here, I want to buy, but nobody care about me. Okay, I go to other store. I go to other company. Because at least the first impression very important too.
Yeah, absolutely. Okay, great.
So yeah, so my point is that if you want to build a brand name, first you need to have how the quality of service and quality of the products, and also how the very important the attitude with the customer.
Yeah.
You need to welcome them and greet them with a smile, something like that.
Yeah, absolutely. Perfect. I think that those are going to be my primary questions. Finance is a little bit harder for me.
Yeah.
It's an interesting concept for me. You have very little hands-on experience, but you have a master's degree.
Yeah.
And I love that. It shows a lot of ambition and understanding of the need for knowledge. And I think that that's the core for especially a finance career. I think that my primary question as it relates to that is going to be, what is your expectation for the title that you could reasonably achieve if you were to start applying for jobs?
Oh, that's why, like they have all kind of question for prepare here. For example, they say that 5 years from now, right? They say, where would you like to be in your career 5 years from now?
Sure.
Because I know that strategy is always the leadership of the company. Because before you want to company how, like 5 years from now, where your position, the company in the society, in the business, right? So first, before they focus on the vision and mission, but they need to have a strategy to get that, to get that target.
Sure.
So that's the strategy. The strategy includes so many combination factors. So come back to the question. I like to become strategist. I like leadership.
Sure.
So I want to become 5 years from now, maybe the top leadership to make decision.
Okay.
I like to be in charge to make the decision, So,
Sure.
and that's I can learn a lot.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think that that is a really great goal.
Yeah.
And then now when we think about that goal and we talk about how to get there, reverse engineer it a little bit. What's the position that you need to start with in order to begin?
Okay.
What are you thinking that looks like?
So first thing when I just come, like just first job for the company, I think I just become the strategies department first. So during that time for the first year I just learn. I learn all the new skill, new knowledge, and new professional required for the job and position. And from that, and next year I can learn more and start to become, get involved on the broad, like make decision, like decision makers. So start from that, I think I can forward to my career.
Okay, that's great.
Yeah.
I just want to make sure that I always like to make sure that anyone who's starting understands the value of hands-on experience. Right? And climbing the ladder from the start. The more that you know about the beginning, the better you can do the end.
Yeah.
Because you'll be able to support everybody who reports to you. You'll be able to understand their day-to-day. So really working your way up isn't anything to scoff at or try and skip. I think there's a ton of value in it, and even if I had the opportunity to skip it, I would most likely opt not to, because the value of that experience is going to make it so worth it in the end. Yeah. It's going to make it so that you as a leader, when you get to that point of being a strategist, you are respected for the depth and wealth of knowledge that you have, not just in your current role, but of the whole picture.
Right.
And I think that's, it seems like you have that awareness.
You know what, because in my opinion, nobody was born, they become superstar or maybe become the talent. The talent, they say that only 1%.
Yeah.
But they say 99% you learn. You learn from self, from the environment, from the working,
Yeah.
always need to learn. And especially you need to come through a lot of experience, come through a lot of situations different. Only that's way.
Yeah.
And they say that only the more you learn, then practice and practice. Because some people they have a talent. I know that, but the talent can help you to speed up in your career. That's not mean you just jump in, you can know everything. No.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's so true. And I think that talent only gets you so far, right?
Right.
And then comes the hard work.
Hard working. Yes, that's right. Right.
For sure. Well, that's great. I really appreciate the examples that you provided.
Yeah.
They are really important for providing perspective.
Right.
Employers want to know how you're going to be in those situations. So really, keep those close. And in mind, know that if you can't provide a professional example, that you can always say, is it okay if I provide one from my personal life? Because, I think it's still relevant.
Yeah.
And that way you can really demonstrate how you understand the value of all of your experiences, not just your work experiences, right?
Right.
You are a whole person.
Yeah.
You have experiences with people, whether you're working or not.
Yeah.
And so it is still valid to bring those up. But I like the examples that you gave. I think they were really well thought out. I think they provide a lot of insights into your values, who you are, how you handle situations. My best advice is always to also think about how are you going to make sure that this company is right for you.
Okay.
So really start thinking about what you need in an environment to feel comfortable, to feel happy, to feel supported, to feel like you're fulfilling your dreams. If it's something where you want to be at that ultimate position in 5 years, then you may want to seek out a company that has a management training program. If it's something where, you really do enjoy the journey and it's okay to take a little longer to get there, then, you really want to focus on the type of leadership that you're going to get. I always tell folks to interview their direct boss if they have the opportunity. If I were to be hired and working for you, if I was falling behind on a project, how would you handle that situation?
Okay.
Because then you can get an idea of how they are day to day.
Right.
And most employers aren't expecting you to do that, so it will leave an impression. But make sure that you do it in a professional and respectful way.
Yeah.
I would always just say, I wonder, if I weren't meeting expectations, what would you do to let me know that? How would you bring that to my attention? And it is a question because you need to know if they're going to tell you directly or if they're just going to internalize it and get frustrated and then suddenly be looking for a way to get you out, right? If you don't have the knowledge, you can't correct it.
Right.
So those are questions that I would start to think about how you want to ask, if you want to ask. But I do recommend that you at least ask things that are going to give you a sense of whether or not you think that person would be supportive. Managers are the number one reason people leave jobs.
Okay, so my question is that, like you say, for example, if they say, okay, today I offer you the position like strategy department employees, okay? So, and they can put me a kind of situation. Sometimes like you say, frustrated, some situation like employees, they have problem or maybe problems. And I need to make decisions like the leadership. And I don't know how to do that. Do you think that I can ask the manager, they can help me?
So that's a question that you can pose in that interview. I think those are things that I would vet out before you get to the offer stage. If someone wants to offer you a position, that's fantastic. But I would say, I have a few questions for you if you don't mind. I would just really like to get a better sense of the culture and the kind of support that I might get in the company. And then you can say, for example, if there was a situation where employees weren't getting along, and I needed to address that, but I would like guidance. Is it something that you would feel comfortable with me coming to you about, right? So you can ask those questions to assess whether they would expect you to figure it out on your own, or if they'd be like, yeah, absolutely, I would be happy to, to guide you on that or to try and help out. We're a team, those kinds of things. So I think it's those kinds of things that you need to decide. What am I really comfortable with, and I'm okay if I have to figure it out on my own? What am I not? And then maybe those are the questions that I focus on in asking that leader. How would you handle that situation? You know?
Thank you very much.
Yeah, and you don't have to say this is my weakness or anything.
Okay.
But just how would you handle? You
And
know?
I have like I just consider you are my manager or maybe my professional advisor, okay? Or maybe a job consultant. So because I know that even my focus education about that, but I don't have much experience about this subject, very specific. So I just think about I apply for the same like employee like strategy, but they can intern. I want to practice maybe a couple months. So I don't care about they pay or not, but I want to become intern. So I can learn in my 4 months, 3 months, whatever. So I can learn a lot about system before I can apply for the official job, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
Internships are great for that. They definitely provide a lot of first-hand experience,
Right.
exposure.
Right.
So those are really awesome opportunities.
Mhm.
Our company probably isn't as well set up for those kinds of internships, though it is possible that we might have like a corporate support internship that would cover some marketing and finance, but it wouldn't necessarily provide you as focused an internship as you would be looking for.
Right.
But I would definitely recommend going the internship route. As we mentioned before, that hard work piece, that exposure, the experience itself, it goes well beyond any education you can get in a classroom. The classroom is a fantastic place to start, and it absolutely is necessary in a lot of ways, especially in the area you want to focus in with finance and marketing too. I mean, a lot of that the psychology that goes into marketing, all of the different pieces that you really have to understand around how business is run, and really even the social aspect of it. It's really helpful to have that classroom training, but once you get that, you have to be able to put it into practice, and being willing to start at the beginning in an internship is a fantastic way to go.
Yeah, thank you your advice. And if you don't mind, you work for the marketing department for the IC, right?
I'm in HR.
HR.
Human resources.
Oh, okay.
I work with them very closely,
Right.
but I do not have a focus in marketing. No.
Oh, okay. So the company, you work in Denver?
Yes.
Okay.
So we do have an office here in Denver on 18th and Curtis.
Okay.
So it's just up the road actually from here. And it is our home office, if you will, but we, like I said, are largely remote. So all of our employees are just sort of, most of us work from home for the most part. And then when something like Hurricane Ian happens, we deploy out into the field. And so that's where most of our people are right
at
now.
this moment, your company have a partner with Florida or not?
Absolutely, yeah. We have most of our staff is out there right now, and we're hiring additional staff to help make sure we have full support.
That's very tough.
Yes, it is such a it's a big situation. It's the biggest storm Florida's ever seen. So it's hard for them, because even though they see these yearly, they don't see them on this scale.
Right. I see there's so many bridge. They broken right in the ocean.
It just washed
broken
away.
right there. And then so many house because you just put your you put your shoes. You put you in the shoe of the people. Just overnight they lost everything. They lost the people.
Absolutely.
Family. So how is that difficult to deal with that? Oh my God, so difficult. So I think that's your company very, very important for
Thank
them.
you. I
just think about that. I say, oh my gosh.
Yes, so we love the work. We definitely are in it to help the communities that are hurt by these kinds of natural events, and unfortunately it's gonna happen. So we figured why not be there to make sure that we can help people in those times. So it's very, very hard to know how bad it really is out there, but I'm just glad we can actually do something to help.
And very interesting that I learned about that's Alisa, right?
Yes.
She's the owner of small business, and she's the woman, and she, oh my gosh, how she can have an idea and founded this company.
She's amazing. She is a doer. She's a go-getter. She didn't like the companies that existed already. She didn't think they had enough heart, and they didn't think about the people enough. They were in it for the money, and she didn't like that. So she started this company, and has been very focused on maintaining that. This is about the people. This is about helping communities.
In Vietnam we say you come from heart. You can touch the heart.
Yes.
So that's company. I mean that your company is very much like that. Not only the money, not only about the business. You touch. You come from heart. You touch the heart. That's it.
Yes,
Yeah.
that's exactly it.
Right.
That's what drives us all. So
Right.
I love that. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
And so, just final question.
Mm-hmm.
So, how do you comment if you are employer and I'm the person to candidate to apply the job? So how do you think about my interview? And the other thing is that I know that I need to contact to the school so they can correct for me. That's
Sure,
right.
sure. Yeah.
But how about the
Yeah,
interview?
as far as the interview itself goes, I think you did really well with the general questions, the
Okay.
kinds of things that you can expect any employer to ask.
Right.
I think you're really, you've got great examples, like I said. They help with the behavioral side of the understanding that employers are looking for. I want to know how you're going to react in a situation. So your examples help with that. My biggest suggestion is going to be whenever you find a job that you want to apply for, the moment you get the notification that they want an interview, you start doing your research. I can tell you've
Okay.
prepared for today, which is
Okay.
fantastic. You
Thank
want to
you.
know about the company,
Yeah.
but really research that job description.
Right.
Have talking points for most of those items so that you can say, this is what I've learned or this is what I know.
Okay.
And it is going to be a piece that you're going to have to be able to show you know how to put in place.
Okay.
So they're going to have specific and detailed questions around finance. They're going to have general questions around marketing as well. The kinds of questions that I asked, how would you do this if this was a project that was presented to you?
Okay.
So really start looking at some of that. Start looking for inspiration on the marketing side of those kind of creative approaches that you might take.
Yeah.
Don't forget the value of social media.
Okay.
Marketing is all about technology, as
Yeah.
we know.
Yeah, that's right.
But sometimes it also helps with a boots on the ground approach too. So just know the industry, understand the company, and by that I mean, are they serving a clientele or are they looking for marketing for themselves?
Okay, so that means very specific for the company
Yes,
business, right?
yes, exactly. Because if they're serving a clientele, then you're going to be doing project-based work most likely, and it's going to change, and it's going to be whatever the client wants, right? If it's for the company themselves, which is what I would expect most of the jobs you would find are, they're going to want to know how you can increase their exposure.
Yeah.
How you can increase their brand recognition.
Right.
How you can help develop internal messaging.
Right.
Communications is a huge part of marketing. So, how would you word this message if the company were having to reduce staff? Right? That's a hard one. How do you spin that internally so that people don't freak out and think the entire company's going down?
Right.
So communications is a huge part of marketing. So yeah, I think those are the biggest things. Research the job, research the company, prepare in that way, just as much as you want to know about the organization. I love the preparation that you've shown here. Knowing about Alyssa, knowing about us being women-owned and operated,
Yeah.
how we focus our energies and our efforts. All of those things go a long way for an employer to know that you've spent the time to really do the research. So
Thank you very much.
yeah, absolutely. And if you have any additional questions, I'm happy to be a support for you. I think you have amazing potential, and I know that you're going to get wherever you want to go.
Thank you.
I can tell you've
also-
got that drive. You've got that drive. You're going to do it.
Thank you very much.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I tried, that's why it took, like personal story. So I come here in US, that my English is a second language. So that's my weakness too. But I learn every, that's not mean, I'm not have a education like school or bachelor here. So when I jump in, very difficult. That's why I just tell you that my classmates, maybe they spend maybe 1 or 2 hours to study, but I need to study maybe 4 or 5 hours more than them. I remember when I studied in class, I read every single book, every single pages. I cannot, skip anything because I don't understand. So I need to to study and read very carefully. My second language, that's why sometimes I don't understand. I need to use, even dictionary too.
Yeah.
That's why difficult, but I say, okay, I can make that.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely. That's amazing determination. You've definitely done a lot, and I am very convinced you are going to get where you want to go.
I hope so. And how do you think that? Do you understand what I talk?
Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. I think you do a great job of conveying your thoughts, and like I said, your examples were really well thought out. I always love examples that help answer multiple questions.
Right.
You've provided a few of those.
Yeah.
You know, in the question about difficult situations,
Mm-hmm.
you answered by showing me that you give people the benefit of the doubt,
Yeah.
but you still have a reasonability with how far you let it go,
Yeah.
that you will address the situation, but that you also show empathy. And so those kinds of answers that can demonstrate those key characteristics in more than one way
Yeah.
are really meaningful in interviews like this. So yeah, I do understand.
Yeah.
I think you do a great job of communication.
Thank you very much. You know what? Because we are the human being.
Mm-hmm.
We're not perfect.
No,
Right?
of course not.
And we not only go to work, we come home, we need to deal many things.
Yes.
You know, like nobody can like healthy and strong forever.
Right.
We get older, we can, you know, like sick, or maybe parent sick, or maybe go to hospital, emergency, or even like my dad passed away. We deal so many things, difficult time in the lifetime.
Yeah.
So if we deal with that, that's not mean, you know, you cannot. So we need to sympathize. We are the human beings, so
Yep, absolutely.
that's why,
Absolutely.
that's why when I work with a coworker, I never criticize them for the one time, 2 times, I never. But I say, if you do that again, 3 times, I need to raise my voice.
Yeah.
They cannot do that again.
Yeah, absolutely. There is a limit, right?
Right.
I agree completely, but I think it's important to show people that we understand,
Right.
and that, you know, we're here to support and help,
Yeah.
As long as it's within reason.
Yeah. Thank
So
you.
that's good. Yeah, that's great.
Nice to talk to you too.
Yeah.
You're very nice.
Oh, thank you.
So I think you interview a lot before,
I
right?
do, yes.
Yeah. Human resources, so.
Yes. So we do a lot of interviewing, especially for this company.
Okay. I
But
see.
yeah, but I hope it was helpful to you, and like I said,
Yeah.
let me know if there's anything that I can help with. I'm more than happy to, you know, take a look again if you wanted to send that over after.
Yeah, I will send to in the school because I remember one lady. I don't know that, but she said, okay, maybe you can hand out to have a resume so she can correct for me one more time, so more professional, you know.
Yeah.
Can I check this?
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely.
Thank you very much.
The school surely has resume review for you. I'm certain of it. It's probably part of the Career Center, so definitely take advantage of that. And I love that you're taking advantage of these other resources that they're willing to put together.
My husband, he said, I like to you write the real story from yourself. So you are yourself. You don't need to look like the books. So that's what I'm writing. Then he correct for me same thing like that. But I tell him, you can say that, but that not mean somehow the business you need to be professional. He very good writing.
Yeah.
So he correct for me, and he said, oh, this cannot need to correct that. So but I say that not mean you are you are perfect. I need to ask my school. That's why I'm here.
Yeah, absolutely. Get the most for your money. You've spent a lot, I'm sure, here in the program, so you might as well take advantage of the resources they have available to you.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you, nice to talk to you and take the spend time with me and correct for me. That's help a lot. I hope that
Well, I hope so. We certainly are appreciative of your efforts, and I'm always happy to help. So
thank you.
Yeah.
So you are the partner with the school, your company.
Yeah,
I mean.
Yeah, absolutely. So we've recently started working on an internship program. With
Oh
MSU
yeah,
Denver.
I think that's good.
Yeah.
Because that's the way you teach them, and then after that maybe you can hire them from them too.
Exactly.
So that means very good potential human resources,
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
We're always looking to grow and develop anyone who's willing to learn.
Yeah,
So
that's good.
yeah, so we're excited to be partnered with MSU Denver for sure.
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. This was great. It was such a nice opportunity to get to know you a little bit and spend some time. I'm sorry you're not feeling well. I hope that you feel better soon.
Yeah, I don't know why. In US I never drink water with the ice, and like very easy to get cold. So I don't know why I have a frog something. And I remember a couple of days ago, you know that scorpion comes to Denver. You know that?
Oh.
So I go to the concert in Pepsi Center right
Did
here,
you?
and I don't know is that some come from or not. But I come home a couple of days and then I hurt.
Yeah.
But very very interesting.
Yeah.
I go to concert because I love this band.
Yeah.
And they come here and say, oh my gosh, that's a chance, lifetime 10, you know?
That's awesome. Well, I'm
Yeah.
glad you got to go. I'm sorry you got sick though, but at least it's just a short, hopefully, period of time. So.
Yeah. Okay, thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. I hope you have a great day.
You too.
Thank you.
Thank you. If you don't mind, I can put on the social media, okay?
Yes, that's totally